Hey guys, Steve Washington here. Hope you guys are well. Just wanted to share with you guys this idea of, real estate, especially when you're new to the business or, even exploring the business, not really sure if you can make it work or what have you. Sometimes there's this idea that people who are, maybe ultra successful in a given industry or, in this case, we're talking about the real estate business, that they just have this like, you know, just superiority to them. And like, look, I think in the essence, like we know that all men are created equal and everybody's the same, and all those things. But just sometimes when you see somebody doing the thing that you dream of doing and you not doing it, it can make you feel like, I guess this person probably has, just some special brainwave or some special way about them that allows them to do it that you probably don't have because this thing either looks so intimidating or some of the steps that you have taken, have proven to not work so well. And you're just kind of like, look, maybe this isn't for me. And maybe this other person or these other people just have like this mystery gene that I don't have. And again, it's an easy idea. It's an easy concept to come up with. But, as somebody behind the curtains or behind the scene, being a successful real estate investor myself, associating and having many friends and partners and even other students who I've brought into the business to be successful, I can tell you that the business is made up of just a ton of ordinary men and women, truly. I'll give you an example to kind of try to illustrate that. So I have a very good buddy of mine, and he is just an absolute pit master. And he makes just like I can't even think about it too much. He makes this incredible brisket. I mean, it's just so good. It's tender. It's got like the perfect bark. It's got like just a perfect, seasoning. It's just he uses a very simple salt, pepper, and I think a little bit of garlic kind of seasoning. And I mean, it just tastes absolutely amazing. It's sliced perfect. I mean, it's just a masterpiece. And we've been friends for many years. And he's taught me a lot about smoking meats. And I remember, I've made decent amount of briskets, and I'm like, sometimes they turn out okay, and sometimes they're just terrible. I feel like I have to darn near throw it away. And I'm like, I can't just I just can't seem to nail it down. And he just let me go on and on about my in my pity party. And then he said, Steven, he said, I have burnt up to a crisp more briskets than you've ever even attempted to smoke. And I was like, dang. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, no, I'm 100% serious. He said, I'm certain that I've burnt more briskets. So I've 100% failed on more briskets than you've ever even attempted. And, it just really hit me hard in the spirit of smoking meats. But it also, I thought about it just being a life principle in and of itself. And, I can tell you, again, being behind the scenes of this real estate business, um, you know, hearing people telling their raw and uncut stories and knowing their raw and uncut backgrounds, like, yeah, you may see them having great success, be doing very well financially, living a lifestyle that you desire to live. But I assure you, like this business is fueled by very ordinary men and women. Very rarely am I meeting someone that's just, just has this super superior, um, what's it called? Uh, I can't think. Somebody's saying it. They're like trying to help me. Like when the test you take, it's going to come to me at the end of this video. The test you take, IQ. Like very rarely do I meet somebody that's just like, man, it seems like this guy's IQ is just off the wall. It's like, no, it's just people that are out here doing the business. The one quality that I will say is they tend to be pretty relentless. So these are just people who put in the work, got socked in the mouth, put in the work again, got socked in the mouth, put in the work again, and eventually start learning how to duck and sock back and kind of figure it out, if you will. And that's what the business is made up of. Again, guru land, these guys selling courses and things like that. I'm not against courses. I've sold courses before. I've sold, I have students who have reached out to me both from YouTube and just other real estate investment groups that I spoke at. And, we do some one on one coaching and so forth. Like, I'm not against that. What I am against is just the lies that are sometimes told for the sake of making money. So they sell this dream that the business is just so easy, and if you have this magical list or send this magical thing or take this one little magical tip, then all of a sudden you'll just have to do nothing, and the business will just come together and you'll make millions of dollars. And it just doesn't work like that. Yes, you absolutely can make millions of dollars and all the things, but does come through putting in work. It does come through building relationships. It does, for some people who want to take a cheat approach, it does come through coaching, and some paid coaching. You're asking somebody to for their time, and you have to compensate them for it. But it's not through, because the main point I'm trying to drive here is I don't want you to buy into one of two theories. I don't want you to buy into the one theory of that these people are just so superior and they have this magic gene. I'm telling you, like, I'm trying to say it as kindly as I can, but I know some guys that are like dumb as doorknobs, and I say that very respectfully. And I don't know how you could say that respectfully. I don't mean to say it that way. But what I'm trying to get at is that some guys who I'm sure did not do very well academically in school. How about that? I think that's the cleanest version I could say. And then so I want to drive home that part, but then I also want to drive home just this idea of, but don't look for like the magic pill either. And you can, I know people who've gone on for years, like just hopping from one magic pill to the next magic pill. We call it shiny objects in the business. They're like, oh, somebody's saying that you can go after pre foreclosures. Oh, somebody else is saying that you should do Airbnb. Oh, somebody's saying that you should do, I forgot what it's called, the one where a bunch of people live in the same house, like rooming houses. Some people say you should do this and do that. And it's like, listen, everything works. Everything. All aspects of the real estate business work. I know, multi-million dollar producers, real estate agents who don't buy a single house. I know multi-million dollar producers of title companies who are just organized in a real estate transaction. I know investors who only do rentals, investors that only do owner finance, investors that only do new construction. Like, there's so many sides of the business, but each of those guys have put in the work, put in the effort. And you might be saying to yourself, like, man, I don't know if if I had a capacity to just, get beat up over and over again. Like, no, I'm not saying that. Like, you have to be tenacious, but like, no, I'm not saying just take hits to the mouth or whatever. But you put in the work, you grow, you figure it out, you're patient with the situation, and then you come back at it again. You learn, you read the books, you go to some courses, you pay for some coaching, you put in the work, or whatever. And in time, and it doesn't have to be that much of time, it just depends on how focused you are and how relentless you are. But you put in the time, the energy, the effort, and it comes together. So I know this is a little, jarbled all around. I'm saying this because it's out of sincerity of my heart, because I see so much what happens in the industry, and I don't want that to be you. I don't want you to be, too over impressed with people, but I also don't want you to buy into the shiny objects. So hope you guys got some value out of this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. I've been having a really good time speaking to a few of our subscribers. People have been submitting questions and comments, even talked to a few guys offline and so forth. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I pray you have a great rest of your day. God bless.